Okay, so I'm going to pick up where I left off. You guys are looking at, okay, so right now you're looking at the course website. So here's 595. Here's the project that's due. And as a further example of I'm a terrible proofreader, I looked at my project description and it told you to clone the repo at PCSE595 underscore dot files. Well, your repo is called project 4. So I changed that in the document. And I also added an extra um, image here, Paperspace gradient setup. It's just an image. I'll show it to you in a minute. So I'm going to fire up Paperspace now. And I'm going to finish configuring this machine, just like I'm asking you to do in the project that you have to demonstrate to me tomorrow, or not tomorrow, by next week. Isn't this the one? I think this is the one. Isn't this what we were working on? Gosh, I don't know. Let me start it. Oh, 1 hour should be enough. All right, so this is an okay machine. 30 gig of RAM, 8 CPUs, 16 gigabytes of GPU RAM. I'm okay with that. So I want to hide that. I want to get rid of that. And presumably you guys can see this entire screen. All right, so there we go. And here we are. So let me start a Jupyter Lab. Oh, I messed with some stuff earlier. I'm not sure if I'm in the right. Let's see. Yeah, okay. This is the right place. All right, so I changed directory to the storage. And what we were working on earlier, was setting up symlinks, modifying the path so it can find the correct version of ctags. A couple other things that I was covering on Tuesday, and I want to finish that today. I want to install some software, and I want to make sure that software is permanently located in permanent storage, meaning /storage, so it's there forever. And this is kind of up to you whether you want to install it. And I'm talking about Python packages at this point. Do you want to install it, move it over, and never have to install it again? Or can you take the hit of installing it whenever you start up a machine? Because it usually doesn't take very long. Tomato. It kind of depends on what you want. But I thought I'd show you how to set it up so that you only install it once and never have to install it again. Because that's going to come in handy for a lot of stuff. So one thing I do want to do is this, though. I want to illustrate this particular bit here. I want to show you this Paperspace gradient setup. So what I'm going to do is right now, and you're going to follow the same path. You're going to, oh gosh, I'm going to move this somewhere else because about right there, because I keep getting confused by it. And I think I'm going to move this over here because I'm going to need it in a moment. There we are. And with that, we'll go back to there. All right, I'm in my storage directory. So what I want to do is I'm going to do what you're going to do. I want to clone the repo that your project is in. So I'm going to clone it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to clone it in my PCSE 595 directory because this is permanent storage and I've got one chunk of storage. I think it's 20 gigabytes for a pro account. I've got one chunk of storage no matter how many separate projects I'm running. So I'm going to have some way to organize my projects. And this is as good a way as any. I'm organizing them by directory. So the project I'm working on now is PCSE 595. So I'm going to change directory to that. Take a gander at what's in there. And I've already pulled setup.sh this is from Tuesday. Ctags is from Tuesday as well. Now, project 4 is your project, the thing you have to work on. So, project 4, and I'm going to be careful with this. rm-rf is a dangerous command. That means get rid of this, get rid of your target, remove. -rf is recursive and remove all the files. So I'm just totally removing this directory. It's dangerous because if you remove the wrong directory, it's going to recursively delete everything under that directory. So be careful with that. And you can see that project 4 is gone. Oh, I forgot bash history is there as well. So let me go ahead and pull down this repo. So I'm going to get the clone link here, go there, and I'm going to clone it into this project because it's part of this project. There we go. All right, now it's going to ask me for stuff that I don't know. Username, password. Usually I set this stuff up, my Git credentials, and I store them in a credential store. But I've got several Git credentials that I use now. Let's see if that works. I have several credentials that I use, and I store them in a credential store. I'm kind of stuck with that one account. Plus, I do it so rarely that I have to figure out how to do it every single time. So I haven't done it yet. So I'm going to have to type in my credentials every time. So here's project 4. Let's change directory to project 4. And there's some stuff to look at in here. Mostly, I want to look at this guy here, Paperspace gradient setup. I want to be able to display it. Now, I can display this a lot of different ways, but the easiest way is just to set it up so I can display it through my notebook, because I can just Jupyter Lab will display an image, with no worries. And I can do that by just setting a symbolic link from this location back to notebooks. And I'm going to do that now. So here's where my notebooks are. Look over here. Notice that there's nothing there. Watch what happens when I set up the symbolic link. There's my symbolic link / storage / PC tab 695 / then we just project 4. Is that enough? No, I want project 4. Project 4. And I set that symbolic link into / notebooks. And I think I'm supposed to put a / on the end. Let's see if that works. So, and I don't want to, oh, yep, it did work. So I'm right there. There's project 4 that I get to. And I did all this because I'm too lazy to display this image any other way. And here's the payoff. I'll put it over here because I think this is going to come in handy. And I'm going to hit Control B to get rid of this guy here because I don't want to look at it. I'm Control, so I can look at everything that's inside of my notebooks directory, but I don't need that right now. So let's go look at it. So here's kind of an overview of what I want you to do. There's ephemeral storage. That's storage that goes away every time you start and stop a server. Permanent storage. Permanent storage is inside of storage and in notebooks, but I didn't want to clutter this by putting storage and notebooks on this image. So what I'm asking you to do is, move everything inside of the local folder, which we'll get to tonight, over to the local folder inside of storage and symlink it back. So you move the local folder from home, which is ephemeral, and / storage, symlink it back to home. So home basically still looks like it has a local folder, except that it's permanently stored. Same with bash history. We did that on Tuesday. And now I've got this project 4 directory. And inside of project 4, there is a vimrc file. Now there can be multiple configuration files. For instance, Kaggle, the things we're going to do, something we're going to use next week. Kaggle has a API key that you download that is, I think it's called kaggle.json or .kaggle.json. It's an API key. Kaggle when you're running the Kaggle command line interface, it expects to find that key in your home directory. Well, your home directory is in ephemeral storage. So what you want to do is have all of these configuration files that have to be in your home directory. You want to set them up every time. So put it in permanent storage and then symlink those once. And in terms of the order that you want to do this, so incidentally, we're just going to symlink one configuration file, vimrc, which is a configuration file for Vim today, but you can do this for multiple configuration files. I'll probably do it for Kaggle next week as well. So inside of project 4, you can see we've got all of this stuff. Let's go back and look. We've got this clean.shell. This is just something that I threw together to get rid of some symlinks so that you can, if your bash script is not working, if your setup shell is not working, you can kind of reset a good bit of this stuff and start over again. And your setup packages. So whatever's inside of project 4, I've kind of given you a subset here. All right, so let me give you the order that this is supposed to run in, because I don't think I emphasized this on Tuesday. When you're setting up a remote cloud compute, it boots up in the same state every single time, and that's not the state you want. So the first, you're going to have to do this once, where you install all the software that you want. For this particular project, you have to move ctags in the local directory to /storage. You're going to index the FastAI package when you install it. Whatever other code base you want, any of those, you have to index using ctags. And I'll show you how to do that tonight as well. And so you do that just once. Then you have everything. Then you have your machine set up so the stuff that you want to be permanent is permanent. But you haven't done any symlinking. So every time the machine starts, you have to do the symlinks. You have to modify, you have to get the symlink set. So you have to run your setup.sh program every time the machine starts. Every time you start a separate terminal like this, so this is starting a separate terminal. That's starting another shell. That's starting another shell. Every time you do that, you want to, every terminal start, you want to, well, actually, I don't think you don't have to do the symlinks because they're already there. I need to fix that. You need to do all of your path modifications. It's not symlinks, it's aliases. Every time the terminal starts, you want all of your, everything that needs to, all of your aliases need to be set up, and all of your path modifications need to be set up, because otherwise, each time you start the terminal, it's going to start with the original path, not the one that you've modified. So that's why you have to put these aliases and path modifications in the bash RC. I don't know why I had symlink still here. I need to get that out of there. And one other thing to remember, source setup.shell, what that will do is it's going to run your setup file, and any changes you make to the shell will stick when you finish running setup.shell. If I run setup shell like this, /setup.shell, what that will do is it will start a separate process, a separate shell, run setup.shell. It'll make all the changes to that separate shell. And then when setup.shell finishes, that shell closes. And when you come back, none of the setup.shell changes are going to stick. So there's a difference between running something, sourcing something, and then executing it directly. And so typically what you're going to want to do in most cases when you're running scripts is source them, especially when you make changes to your bash RC file and you want them to apply to the current shell. You run source.bashrc. So I'm going to keep this graphic off to the side because I think that's going to come in handy. And let me pop back over here. So if you guys have any questions, don't don't hesitate to ask, but definitely do not put them in the chat because I'm not looking at the chat right now. I can't see it. All right, so what else did I say I wanted to do? Oh, install some software. All right, so gosh, one of the things I wanted to do. Here's the setup.shell that's here. There's not really anything there. So what I'm gonna do is change directory. I'm gonna go back up one directory. So I'm in the directory that I was in on Tuesday. These are the files that I've created. There's ctags was created and setup shell was created. This setup shell, cat will actually type setup shell to the screen. Cat will print out a program to the screen. This is this. Actually, let's do this. Do clear. There we are. So this is the setup shell that we wound up with. Let's see. I'm going to store stuff in storage, PCSE95. Okay. I am going to save the current directory, and then I'm going to go to the home directory. Then I'm going to create a symbolic link from, let's see, storage PCSE95.bash history back into whatever directory that I'm in, which is the home directory. Then I'm going to set up an alias here, change directory storage PCSE595. Okay. And then I'm going to, so there's a symbolic link and an alias that I've set up. Then I'm going to go back to the original directory that I was in, which if you start Paperspace, that directory is going to be notebooks. Then I'm going to update my path so that I can find my newer install of ctags. All right, so source setup.shell. Let's see if this works. Let's see. Alias. Yep, I'm checking my aliases. I've added a new alias, CDP, now works, which means I can change directory back to my home directory. I can check things out, and I can see that my bash history is here. Let's see if I can get to my bash history. I don't think I can get to my bash history. This is now saying bash history points here. But when I started this shell, I did not have a bash history file. So right now, my shell is currently saving its own history. And which you'll see is just this stuff. If I start a new shell, it's going to be a different history. So there's my old history there. This is what's stored in the bash history file on my permanent storage. This is the history from my current shell. And I'm not going to get to what was stored in the bash history file, what the commands I was using before. That's okay. The way you can get around that is as soon as you start your process, or as soon as you start your machine when you begin, you run setup.shell immediately. And once you've done that, you close that terminal window and you go back, open a new terminal window so you can get your old history, so you can see what commands you had typed in the past. Now, generally, these histories will grow, and I can save up to 1,000 commands. And it really matters if, well, I'm doing a whole bunch of stuff. Some things work, some things didn't work. I wanted to go back and see what I had done in the past. And if I build up this buffer with 400 or 500 commands in my history buffer, when I shut down for the night and come back tomorrow, I'm going to want to see that history. So this is why it's important to be able to look at it. And it's not important. It's just handy. That's all it is. It's just handy. None of these things in and of themselves are super critical. But taken as a whole, they make your life so much easier when you're using cloud-based resources. All right, so let's go back and fix. Where's my setup.shell? project 4. I'm in project 4. Let's go backwards. Let's take this setup.shell and push it back, push it into project 4. Because from now on, I want to work on setup.shell that's in project 4 directory. So I'm going to move, let's see, setup.shell. I think it's dot current directory slash project 4 slash. I think that's right. LA setup.shell is gone. Change directory. Project 4. Let's see what we've got here. Where did I go? Project 4 setup.shell. And let's take a look at it. Oh, let's just look at it through here. There it is. That's everything that we've done. Alrighty. The next thing I wanted you to do was, gosh, what did I want you to do? Oh, I want you to install some Python packages. And the Python packages I want you to install, let me put this down here. Hit Control B to close that window on the side so we can see some stuff. And here's setup.shell, and I can go ahead and edit this here. I'm not going to use vim here. So what do setup packages.py. So if I look at this file, setup packages.py, we'll take a gander at it. So all this is, let me move this down a little bit so you can see it. This is a very short file. I'd like to move this down. I don't seem to be able to grab it. Grab that one. All right, you go over there then. All it is I've got this if name is me. I can run this as, I can import this as a library, as a package, or I can run it as a file. So if I'm running it as a file, I'm just going to run this function called setup packages. For some reason, I've defined this as a not public method. I'm not sure why. So that indicates that I don't intend this to be imported into other Python code and then run another Python code. I guess mostly because it's rude to do what we're about to do in a Python program. You never want to do this inside a Python program that you give someone. However, if your Python program is specifically intended to install software, then it's fine and dandy. So this underscore indicates it's not meant to be imported and used in other Python projects. It's fine and dandy for a bash script though, because like I said, it's rude. It's going to print out setup Python packages, and I'll tell you about the rudeness in a minute. I'm going to import a couple of useful libraries, OS and subprocess, and I'm going to import subprocess because I'm going to want to run a command. I'm going to try to import FastAI. Now, if it's not there, I'm going to get a module not found error. So let me show you what I mean by that. Pop this up. So where are we? Before I get lost in here. So I'm going to Python project Python. Let's run Python. Let's jump into okay, we're now in a Python interpreter. Let's try to import FastAI. Look what happens when I can't import it. You see this traceback? That's because it threw an exception, and the exception it threw was module not found error. I'm going to take advantage of that over here in this setup packages, and this is the rude bit. So if I try to import it and the module's not there, I am going to install it, and that's super rude. Now I'm showing you how to do this in Python, but do not do this in your programs that you give to anyone, or other than programs that are intended to be used in setup scripts, because you're forcing someone who runs your program to maybe unintentionally install an application. All right, so here's the command I want to run. I want to install some software. FastAI. Quiet means I'm not going to get any output printed to the screen because I really don't want to see it. Dash user is the interesting bit. Which dash user is going to do is, what this will do is it will not install FastAI to the default environment. It's going to put it in some place called .local. Now, what that gives you is this. Can I show this here? This .local file, that's going to contain just your locally installed Python packages. What that allows you to do is just to take, sorry, it's not a file, it's a directory. That allows you to take that local directory once you've installed stuff and chuck it over here on storage, permanent storage, under /storage, so that it's always there. And then symlink it back. Once you symlink it back, then as far as the interpreter is concerned, well, this local that's symlinked from here to here, the interpreter is going to think, hey, it's here. It's always here, as long as that symlink is in place. So let me show you how to do that. Setup.shell. Do I want to edit this, or do I want to just show you this? Let's chuck it in here. So there's a link. I'm linking into bash history. No, I think I'm going to do it. Okay. Control D to get out of there. I'm going to do this from the shell itself for a moment. So I'm in project 4. So you see that this did not work a moment ago, importing fast AI. All right, so let's run Python setup packages.py. It's going to install fast AI. One thing I wanted to, I wanted to show you what was in the local directory. It's going to install this library called Tim and this library called pynvml. That's one of the it's one of the requirements for, I think, Tim. Now it's done. Now look what happens. Let's do Python again. And now let's import fast AI. Found it. You see there's no module not found error? That's because Python is now, fast AI has now been installed in a local folder. You want to see it? Control D to get out of it. Change directory to get back to the ephemeral home. ls-la. You can see this .local folder. And if I open that, and incidentally, this dot here, what that does is it will hide all dot folders are hidden from most file browsers, unless you ask it, hey, show me all the hidden files. It's also hidden from ls, unless you ask it, show me all the hidden files. But I'm in the local folder right now, and you can see that, what was just created? Bin and lib were just modified. So lib is the one that I'm interested in. Change directory lib, ls-la, Python 3.9, change directory, Python 3.9, ls-la. This is a package that's going to be, and then change directory, site packages, ls-la. This is all the local, this is part of the local Python install now. I've got a local Python machine that's running right now. And somewhere in my directory structure, wherever my Python is, which Python user local bin Python, is that the one I'm using? I can find the environment that it's running in. There's a whole bunch of libraries there. But it's also going to look in the .local folder for Python packages that are just installed locally for me. And these are going to go away as soon as I shut this machine down and start it up again, unless I do this. So where am I? Go back here. I want to move .local. I think it's .local. That folder, I don't have to have that. Move .local to / where do I want to put it? /storage. /storage. All right. And now if I look, notice I don't have .local anymore. Also notice I try to import fast AI again, I'm going to get a module not found error because it's no longer my local folder. So all I have to do to fix that is symlink the local folder that I moved over to /storage, symlink it back into home. So ln-s /storage /.local. I'm not sure where I am right now, but I think I'm in my home directory. Bash history. Yeah, there we go. Bash history setup .local setup. So Python fast AI check import Tim. I think that takes a little bit longer to import, but that should be a check as well. There it is, and I can import and also import PyVinyl too if I want. Okay, so we're out of that. So now I've set up, I guess what I've done is I've set up all the files, all the Python packages that I want. So let's take a look-see at that. So I want to look at my history because I want to take these commands and I want to chuck them back into setup.shell. That's good enough. So I'm going to want that Python setup packages.py. I wonder if I can just do it this way. Setup. And sometimes the order that you run these commands makes a difference. Yeah, I'm okay right there. That looks good. Alias, change directory. I didn't do anything to the path here. Did I do anything with the path? When I installed, yeah, when I set up my, okay. For ctags, I installed it in, gosh, I forgot where I installed it. Let's go look. I don't have it here. So ctags was installed in, where did I put it? Let's go look. So, oh, shoot. I'm not going to be able to see that because I haven't put it in my, I haven't modified my bash rc file yet. All right, change directories -storage, ls-la, local PCSE 695. Where did I put it? Oh, there it is. Change directory ctags and ls. Ctags is, where is it? Right there. So if I do /ctags from this directory, or sorry, /ctags -- version, I've got the right one. Because that says look in the current directory for ctags. That's the one I just compiled on Tuesday. If I do this, just plain old ctags -- version, that's going to look through the path to find ctags. The path is this. Here's where it's going to look. It's going to look in user local sbin, user local bin, user sbin, user bin. And I think that's where this particular version of ctags is. So if I type which ctags, it's in user bin. That's where it's located. All right, so let's just modify the path. That's all we have to do. Now I always forget how to modify the path. So export path equals, what do I want? /storage /cpse. Will that get it? Nope. cpse 595 /ctags. I think that's right. Storage PCSE 595 ctags. That's good. And then what I want to do is : and then I want $path, and what that will do is it will expand path out to be its full string value. So did I get that? Let's see if I got that right. So let's see what path is now. Storage, CPSC 595, ctags. Okay, that's right. So this is what I want. I want to take this, and I also want to run it. Oh, I did have it here. Totally wrong. Export path is equal to log ctags path. Okay, so that's already here. Kind of golden when I run this. So that means that when I run setup.shell, I should be able to find the right version of ctags. And this is a new window where I haven't fixed things yet. You know what? Let's fix that right now. The way you fix this, if you look at the requirements on the course website, under here it tells you. Let's see, create aliases, yada yada, modify path, modify bashrc to add above aliases and modify path whenever a new shell starts. What this means is I've got to put these two statements, this statement here, I've got to put it in the bashrc file. So I guess let's do that now. So,
Mr. Perkins?
Yeah.
So could you just have bashrc run the setup file?
You could, but the problem with that is it's going to run all. It depends on what your setup file is doing. If your setup file is written properly, then yeah, no worries, because your setup file should check to see if a file is there, and if it's there, it doesn't do anything. But right now, my setup file is going to create this symbolic link. So if I run setup over and over and over again, and you'll see this. So I'm going to start getting failures. Where am I? Change directory. I'll start to get failures. So it is there. Oh, project 4. All right, third time's charm. So there's a failure. Failed to create symbolic link, bash history, file exists. So what that means is I'm going to have to check to see if this link exists. If I'm going to add this, run my setup file, my bashrc, I'm going to have to check to see if this link exists before I try to create it again. Unless you don't care, unless you're okay with these kind of error messages that pop up, it's not going to hurt anything to try to create the link over and over again. Once you create it, it's there. There's some other tricky bits that you need to be aware of, though. For instance, when you first start, some of the tricky bits, if there's a file that you have to move and it's not there, if there's directories that are not there in your setup shell and your bashrc file, and it fails, well, that's not a good example. No, wait a minute. Let me wait until I come to one of those examples, because I can't think of something off the top of my head. What you don't want is your bashrc to kick up errors like this in general. But this particular one is harmless. And sometimes your setup.shell file is going to take a long time to run. You really want, which means when you're starting a new shell, it's going to take a long time to run your setup.shell before you actually get it prompt. And you probably don't want that. So what you really want is when you start a new shell, is if you've already got your symlink set and you've already copied all your software and you've already installed all your software as well, all you want to do is define, just redefine your aliases in that new terminal and modify the path as appropriate. So, and it's pretty easy to do. So let's see, echo. What's going on here? Is that right? Echo. Okay, that's right. Echo. What this is going to do is it's going to copy this stuff. Let me see if I can. Where's my aliases? Now I'm going to run into an immediate problem. I can't have It's duplicate. I'm going to have to switch my quotes from double quotes to single quotes. So if I echo this alias, change CDP to this command, I want to send that to my bash rc file. I do that by .bashrc. Now it's important that you do this in the right place. You want to make sure that you do this while you're still in the home directory. So you want to do it before you get to this line here. Unless you specifically say, let's see, tilde slash dot bash rc, and my tilde character is no longer working. So I'm going to be in my home directory here. And when I do this, that's going to put that alias inside of my bash rc file. I'm going to do this as well. Echo export paths equal to loc ctags path. That's good. There we go. That's good. And usually you want to have these things close together. So take this, put this up here. I'm going to set up my aliases. Aliases, just path, and that makes sure that it works for this particular shell. Push those statements to your bash rc file. Now, once you do this, oh, this is one other thing. Once you start putting things into the bash rc file like this, you really don't want to run setup.shell over and over and over again, because it'll just keep copying these lines to your bash rc file. Is that correct? I think that's correct. All right, so let's save this. Go back to, let's see, where am I? Let's go back to the project. Nah, I want to be in the project. Oh, here we are. Let's clear this. And let's see. Tail dot slash root slash dot bash rc. There's the end of my bash rc file here. Now I'm going to run my setup.shell. Source. Okay, that already exists. So that's the first failure I'm telling you about. I'm setting up my Python packages. Notice that it didn't do anything here. It didn't do anything because when I was setting up Python packages, but I have Python packages up here. Well, let's do it. So I don't want that. If you look at setup packages, as long as I can import these packages, I don't do anything else. I don't print installing or print installing software or anything. Packages are already there. They're already set up. And now if I, so let's go back here. So if I just ran this setup.shell program. If I now look at my bash rc file, which is in root. Actually, why am I doing this? I'll do it this way. There it is. You can see that this has been appended to the end of it. This has been appended to the end of it. That's a pretty big path. Okay, and that's that statement here and that statement here. So now when I start a brand new shell, you can see that the path is correct no matter where I am. When I run ctags, it should pick up the right ctags, not the old one. Yep, that's the right one. And my alias should also be there. Okay, so that's nice. So I'm heading in the right direction. All right, so I set up my Python packages. I set up my my aliases and my where are my alias? Set up my aliases here in the setup.shell. I set up my aliases here inside of my. I put this in the bash RC so that every time I start another terminal, that alias and that export is going to be valid. So I'm kind of golden. And by the way, there's a million different ways to do the same thing. If I wanted, I don't need to have these statements in here at all. All I need to do is have these statements in here. And then when I run setup.shell, I don't care how I run it. Once I'll run setup.shell in a terminal, close that terminal, and the very next terminal that I open will pick up all those changes from the bash RC file because I just wrote them to it. So when it runs the bash RC, it will define those aliases and those exports. However, I like it that when I source my setup.shell file, everything is going to be up and running for me. I don't have to source my setup.shell and then resource my bash RC file to get everything I need. All right, so what's missing so far? What did I ask you to do in your project? Create directories if needed. Yeah, you're probably going to have to create some directories. Loc, for instance. If it's not there, you got to create it. Bash history file, check. I showed you how to do that. Create all symlinks if not there. I think, oh, I didn't do a symlink for .local, did I, or did I? Let's go see. So change directory, ls-la. I think I did. Yeah, there's my local, and that all works. Did I put that inside of here? Nope, I didn't put it inside of here. So I'm going to put that inside of my setup.shell file as well. So let's go look at my history again. And I guess I'm going to move this up a little bit. What's over here? Anyway, I don't want that. What's in my history? Basically, I just want to get this link right. And I didn't do, oh shoot, I did not do this link inside of this page. One of the things about history is that it's per terminal until you either exit the terminal, that will save the history, or if you type history-a. If you just shut the terminal down like this, you lose your history, lose the history from that terminal. Okay, I think I can live with that. So what's my history here? Anything useful? Nope, nothing useful there as well. All right, so I'm going to do that symbolic link. All right, so let's do it. And I'm symbolically linking this local file to my .local file here. So I'm in my home directory, ln-s, loc, that will expand loc out to storage, PCSC 595. That's right, that's where my, that's where my local directory is, .local. Okay, and that will work. So there's my second symbolic link. So when I run this setup shell, this symbolic link is going to be set up as well. All right.
So when you restart the machine, won't it create .local again?
That's a problem. Yeah, let me tell you how to fix that. .local, when you start the machine, .local is there. What you want to do is copy .local over, because .local, when you restart the machine, is just going to have shared in it. When you install stuff to it, you get a bin and a lib as well. So ideally what you want to do is when you start the machine, you can copy over the existing .local. So that means that maybe today, my .local files, when I copy everything over, including my .local directory, which is right here, change directory, .local. ls-la. You can see the share folder. This is automatically inside of .local. This is going to be periodically updated. And if today I run my setup.shell, I copy that today's version of .share over and bin and lib over to my .local file on my storage folder, and then 2 months from now the share changes, I need to make sure that those changes are picked up on my shared folder in /storage. Otherwise, I'm going to get an inconsistent environment. You guys know what I'm saying? And the way you do that, it's pretty straightforward. So, well, it's not pretty straightforward. I wanted to tell you how to do that. Something like this. Now, to me, this just smacks of a hack, but it ensures that I'm not ever going to be out of date for local. This yes says copy everything in the local.share file, everything here, over to /storage /pcse595.local/share. Overwrite everything inside of there with what's inside of here. So it smacks of a hack, but I think it's okay. I think it's going to work for I think it's going to work in every case. There's probably some edge conditions that I haven't thought of, but it will pick up any updates to any of the libraries inside of the share. If any of the libraries are deleted inside of the share, then they're just going to remain inside of the if in the future any of the libraries inside of share are deleted, when I copy that share over to /storage, those deleted libraries in /storage are just going to stay there. But if they're deleted, that means they're not used. So all it is going to be is just cruft that builds up in my /storage directory. And I'm okay with that. It's a little bit of extra space, I think. And I'm going to live with that because there's no way that I want to do a comparison to take the set of all values inside of both of these directories and then only delete the things that aren't in the set in the share folder and /storage, and then copy everything from the share over. That's too hard. All right, so this is going to work. This is going to copy everything from local.share. And the share is the only thing that I really care about getting right. Bin and lib, they're all automatically going to be over there. All right, so let's see what I got right now. I've got some stuff that's working okay. So let's shut this thing down and start it up again, and then run this setup.shell. Does this look okay to you guys at this point? There's a couple of links, bash history.local.
You could link before you'd copy the stuff over. Is that okay?
Linking what?
The symbolic link to local.
Is that okay? Yeah, you're right. That's not okay. That's got to go below. Okay, what he's saying is there's a circular link here. So once I do this, I'm setting up a symlink from okay, I'm setting up a symlink. Do I have to delete my? Yeah, I think I have to. Control X. I think I do have to remove it. Yeah, you're right. I forgot that. So, all right. So once I've copied it over, .local. Yeah, good eye. That would have showed up in just a minute. rm-rf .local. I think that's right. Yeah, that gets rid of it. And whoops. I'm going to copy it first. Yeah, I want to copy it, and then I want to remove it. And then I want to set up these links, I think, after I do that, after I remove it. Yeah, I think I mentioned a moment ago, the order of this matters. And you often see that you get the order I was about to get the order wrong, and I may still have the order wrong. And by the way, if you get the order wrong, and things aren't working right, and you try to run and it's not working, you can do this. Where are we? PWD, ls-la. I'm not sure if this is right or not. I'm about to shut it down. All right, that's good. That's good. So if I try to run, I'll show you. So let me change directory to storage. Oh, this is an original. No, okay, let's go. Let's start a new one, new terminal. So that CDP works. All right, so now we're in storage. Now I want to change directory to the project. And now source setup.shell. If it's not working, what you want to do is this. All right, if you do source setup.shell and you're getting some errors like this, cannot create directory, local share, no such file or directory, error, could not install packages due to OS error, file exists, root local, yada, yada, yada. Bunch of errors. bash-x setup.shell, and this will give you more information about what is going wrong here. Failed to create the symbolic link from this line here. Export path, wrong. And then all of these problems that are showing up. File exist /root.local. So ls-la. Oh, look, it totally bombed. So setting up Python packages, installing FastII, could not install packages. /local. So change directory. See what we got. Okay, this is no longer there. So looks like I did not copy. I didn't link properly to my local folder. Oh, I know why. Where is my local share folder? Now the problem might be at this time. Yeah, there's no local folder here. ctags, project 4, change directory. So I moved my local folder. It looks like I moved it all the way into well, it's in my storage directory. That looks right. So okay, copy it, remove, loc, storage, PCSE 595, .local. Oh, it's just in storage. Okay, I put it in the wrong place. You see where it is? I'm in storage right now. The path where right now I'm in /storage. Local is in /storage.local. What I'm trying to do is set up a symbolic link that points to storage PCSE 595.local. Okay, so let's fix that. All I have to do is move .local to /. Usually nope, that's not going to work. Usually if you do a tab character /s, move .local / storage / yeah, okay. If you do type a single character, the directory you want, and you type tab, and if it fills in the rest of it, that means you've at least got your path set up correctly. So I'm going to move local from, oh, it's not sitting there. Crap. This is what I want. Change directory because it's sitting in storage. Now I want to storage slash PCSE 595. There we go. And I'm going to change directory to PCSE 595 and then ls-la. There's .local. I change directory back to my home directory, ls-la. Everything's golden now. All right, let's think about this for a minute. Hold on to the current directory, change directory wherever I am. I'm going to start off in notebooks, go to the home directory, copy everything from local. When you start up a machine, there's going to be a local there. Copy everything from the share over to the storage slash PCSE 595 slash local.share. Remove local from the home directory, create a symbolic link from the home directory to local and bash history, set up my aliases, adjust my path, modify bash rc, and then go back to the directory where I was and set up Python packages if I need to. Is this in a good place or not? Yeah, I think it is, because it's going to try to install to local. The reason it was failing earlier is because it tried to install to a symbolic link that didn't exist. Remember, this red with a black background means it's an invalid symbolic link. That's why it was failing. All right, so everything looks golden. Let's kill this machine because I think it's about to die anyway. Setup.shell. That's not the one, is it? Your notebook will be on. Your notebook has been auto shut down. Is it still working? Oh, nope. Yep, it shut down on me. All right, so let's restart it. See if I can get that machine again. Kill that. And while I'm doing that, I'm making sure I'm going to get everything. All right, it's firing up. No worries. Okay, I'll start another Jupyter Notebook. Or a Jupyter Lab here. All right, and I've got my raw machine is firing up now. I'm going to check out what I've got in /notebooks. Nada. Oh, notebooks is permanent, remember? So I still got the symbolic link to project 4, so that's permanent. When I go back to my home directory, though, there's my regular local. I can. All right, there's a share that has something in it. Notice there's not a ben or a lib. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to run my, go back here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to source /storage /PCSE 595 /setup.shell project 4. All right, so I did make a mistake in my, okay. What this is saying here is I was in the wrong directory when I tried to run Python setup packages. So everything else should still be working. So all of my symlinks are set up. What I have to do is this. Go here, project 4. Let's look at setup.shell. Remember when I said, is that going to work there? Turns out it's not. So I'm trying to run setup packages. I start off in notebooks. Then I go to my home directory. Then once I'm in my home directory, I do some stuff. Then I go back to notebooks and I'm trying to run Python I try to run /notebooks/setup packages. It's not there. it's really, in this case, it's really going to be in /storage /PCSE595. It will be Python /project4. Okay, and that's a little ugly there, just putting that in by hand. And then setup packages.py. So now this should work. So let's try it again. Source setup.shell. Going to run for a little bit. Can it copy a directory? Yeah. Yeah, okay. So the problem that I'm running through now is I'm trying to copy a symlink to itself. So that's a problem you'll run into if you don't check first. Set up Python pack. I'm making sure that this works. Okay, that works. This failed to create symbolic link. That's because it's already there. And I'm getting all of these errors because I'm not checking stuff. By checking stuff, I mean stuff like this. Bash history. Well, let me show you. I ask you to do for loops. Okay, so it looks something like this. And bash history and .local. Bash history, and I think no. And the syntax is a bit funky here. Then I want to do a do. And then down here, I want to have this done. Up here, if, I'm going to have an if statement. And if is, this is going to be funky. If not, space, I get that right? Space -L. If this link does not exist, and I want tilde. Can I get that? I can't get a tilde. Let me copy a tilde. There we go. Okay, if that link, notice these spaces around here. If this symbolic link doesn't exist for each P in bash, for instance, bash history, if this link does not exist here, then I'm going to create it. So ln-s, I think I want it loc. Is that kind of what I'm doing here? Yeah, there we go. And so that takes care of both of these. I think if, when you finish your if, I also want to indicate that I've done this. So I want to echo some stuff. Echo creating symlink for $P. There we go. Creating symlink for $P. When you finish your if, and this is just the weirdness of bash. So I got rid of all of this stuff. I've got rid of those 2 lines, and I started to fill this stuff out here. Okay. Now there's one other thing that I want to do for a symlink. So if I actually save this and show you that this is not going to happen, I need to do something similar up here as well. Because I create that. Do I need to check that? Save it. So what's going to happen now is I'm no longer going to get this failed to create symlink anymore. So if I try to run this, cannot copy a folder onto itself. Syntax error, near expected token fee. Green symlink for P. What's wrong with that? That looks right. Oh, whoops. Is that it? Try it again. Syntax error, unexpected token fee. Why is that unexpected? If, oh, wait a minute, I'm missing something here. Oh, yeah. if that's the case, then now, okay, now it's green again. Okay. So now try it. Local share. Okay, I'm not able to copy that. There's no such file or directory. Creating symlink for .local, setting up Python packages, bash history .local. So I had to create a symlink for .local. Let's run it again. So every time I delete, okay, every time I'm deleting this .local file, so every time when I run it again, when I run this bash or when I run this setup.shell file, when it finishes, there is there's this .local symlink. So every time I run it, I remove that local symlink. So that's why I'm always recreating this symlink. But tomato, tomato, it's the same thing. I wind up with the same results. I'm okay with that. So this seems relatively solid right now. This I'd probably want to take a look at because, well, actually I don't. You're only supposed to run setup shell once. When you shut down the machine and start it again. So let's see what happens. It looks relatively solid now. So let's shut it down and start it again and see what we get. Restart machine. Come on. Oh, and we're up and running. All right, let's go over here, run Jupyter Lab. All right, so let's see how running setup. So start this, change directory, get in the home directory, ls-la. There's nothing there. There is a .local source /storage /pcsc 595 project 4 setup.shell. Let's see how this works. Creating symlink for bash history, creating symlink for local, setting up Python packages, done. Remember what I told you earlier. Every time the machine starts, you run setup shell. Every terminal start, you don't run setup shell, but because setup shell added aliases and path modifications to the bash RC. So when I run another terminal window now, I'm going to get my aliases. Those will be there. Those are all going to be there, and they're all going to be correct. All right. One other thing I wanted to show you before we finished is I want to show you why I'm making this big deal about ctags in Vim. Vim has this. Okay, let's see, change project. You can see that there's a file inside of project 4 called vimrc. If you look at vimrc, I'm just going to cat the first. This is a Vim configuration file. I could just do head. This first line is going to tell where the ctags file is, and this is important. Storage config .local lib tag. So we're going to have to adjust that because it's going to be under storage PCSC 595 project 4 or PCSC 595 .local lib tags. So let's edit that. So which directory am I in? Project 4. then okay, vim dot. Now this is Vim's configuration file. This is telling it where to look for the tag file. And it's going to be in /storage/ type I for insert. Then I can insert characters. PCSE 595.local/lib/tags. That means here is where I'm going to want to generate my tags file for my software, for FastAI. So save that. And there's some remappings here that we may or we'll talk about in a bit. All right. I'm finished editing. Escape. Write and then quit. Okay, my vimrc file is pretty correct. Now, a vimrc file is not supposed to be in the storage PCSE 595 project 4. It's supposed to be in the home directory. How do you get around that? Well, you symlink it, of course. So -s/storage/ 595/project 4 project4/.vimrc. Okay. All right, so I'm going to want to use that, but my tilde character is not working right now. So I'm doing all this copying and moving around because my tilde character is not working. So paste that back. Is that right? Yep, there's my vimrc. It's pointing to there. That means when I'm using Vim now, it's going to be using that vimrc file. And you can tell that I'm using the vimrc file if I, what do I have here? Well, there's nothing I really want to look at. Vim. Let's see. Escape. Quit. So let's go someplace where we can edit something. Project 4. Yeah, you can tell that it's working because I now have this bar following. So this bar, I've turned on this vertical bar to see that the vimrc is properly found by Vim when you're using it. And Vim is going to look for the tags file here. So I'm going to change directory to here, and I'm going to generate tags for an API. So escape lib tags. I'm going to quit out of here because I don't want to edit it. So project 4, change directory, local, change directory lib. Now here's where I want to generate the tags. Now here's what you do with ctags. Notice there's nothing here. There's no tags file here, but there is a Python 3.9. So I'm going to do ctags-r. And that's going to generate, it's going to go through all of the packages in Python 3.9. It's going to generate a tags file. And you can see this tags file right here. And so you can look at the tags file. There's a lot of characters. It's showing you where all the, it's going to allow you to browse the code. Let me show you what I mean. So if you look here inside of your project, let's go back. Your project.pdf, down here for ctags, it tells you, let's see, vim-t, this -t says find this adaptive average pool, and this will work from anywhere. So vim-t, adaptive average pool. So I'm going to go back to where I am, change directory to go to the home directory, vim, find a tag, adaptive average pool. Is that correct? Did I type the right thing? Oh, AVG pool. Okay, if the tag isn't there, then it's not going to find it. Escape. Let's see if this is right. Average pool. Ah, there it is. There's my adaptive average pool. Right there. So, and from anywhere here, if I'm in my code base and I don't know what's going on, I can just fish around in this code base and find stuff. And I can go back inside of the code base and go to other tags as well. Let me find another tag to go to. F.softmax, let's go there. I'm gonna hang out there and hit control. Okay, the tag's not found. Let's find something that's likely to be found. Parameter, I don't think a parameter is found either. Well, there's something. Well, come on, that has got to be there. Just trying to find another tag to go to. There's adaptive average pool. I don't think I can go there either because get attribute. Yeah, it has been attributed. So I can go to get attribute. Now I can do that and I can go right back to where I was before by hitting F7. That will take me back to my first tag, adaptive average pool. And I can just keep going up to look for stuff if I want to see other things. And so this is what Vim and ctags will give you. It's going to give you the ability to take a code base and recursively pull out all the tags. And then I can use Vim to browse through the code base to see what's going on. FastAI is a wrapper application that's pretty complex. And when things go wrong, it's a little mysterious about why it's going wrong. This sort of tool lets you look inside of the black box and see why things are failing. And I'll be using this a little bit next week as well, so you'll see how it works. And with that, that's all I have for right now setting up a Paperspace instance. There are more things to do with it, but you have to get into what's known as the Paperspace command line interface. The Paperspace command line interface you'd have to install it where it looks sort of like this. You have to install Gradient, then I get the version of Gradient. You have to give it your API key. Once you give it your API key, and this is how you grab it, once you give it your API key, you can browse your projects. And you may have noticed in Paperspace that there's no easy way to delete a project that you first created in the web UI. Yeah, there's not. You want to get rid of it, you have to install the Gradient CLI, command line interface, and then list your projects, delete the ones that you want. So the CLI is much more configurable. You can do much more with a CLI than you can do the web interface. And you're going to find lots of APIs are that way. You got this nice web interface that looks cool, but you get a subset of the functionality in the web interface than you get with the CLI. We're also going to do a CLI. I'm not going to ask you to use the Gradient CLI, but I am going to ask you to use the Kaggle CLI. And we'll do that when we meet next. So, and that's it for setting up a Paperspace instance. So if you guys have any questions, and this is everything that you need to do your project. So if you have any questions, now's a great time to ask.
I'm too tired to have any.
Okay. This is going to be recorded and I'm going to chuck it up on YouTube so you can watch me. And apparently you can listen to me at twice my normal speed and you can still understand me. Most of the videos that I look are not that way. So apparently there's something about me that you're able to do that. So it'll be up there in a little bit as soon as they finish processing. And with that, I'll see you guys on Tuesday. And you're going to have to schedule, remember, you have to schedule showing me your Paperspace instance working properly next week. I've got to see it for the final 20%. I just can't look at your setup.sh script and know that it's going to work. You have to do you got to also show me this beginning stuff where you install all the software and move the ctags around. I'm also going to ask you to use ctags to browse through the code base as well. Anyway, I'll see you guys next week. You all have a good weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.